We saved the best one for last, but before we show you one more example here, what we're going to do is we're basically just look at how this works. Okay, so what we're doing is we're really making up a polynomial. Well, if you think about it, if I take x plus 2 times x plus 2 and I square it, I end up with x squared plus 4x plus 2. So if you talk about m and say, hey, this is our m value, okay, that's the value that we're actually, that would be in our squared binomial. You know, looking back on this one, it was -1. What you have is you have the middle term is really 2m, and then this is always going to be m squared. So that works for any polynomial. Whenever you're squaring a binomial, if you wanted to memorize how to square a binomial, that's basically what you do. You double the middle term, or you double the constant, and add a variable to it, and then this is just going to be the constant squared. So let's see if we can't look at one more example. Here we go. Again, this one's going to be a little bit more complicated. On a problem like this, I would probably not use completing the square. I would use our fourth method, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, but I'll go ahead and do it and just show you. Again, I'm going to go ahead and group my variables, move that 4 to the other side. So I'm going to factor out my leading coefficient. Oh yeah, sorry, there should be a 2 on the top. So it'll look a little something like this, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take half of b. Well, this number is b right here. You can either think about the problem and say if you have -2/3, half of that's going to be -1/3, or if it's tough for you, you can just take -2/3. Instead of dividing it by 2, you can multiply it by the reciprocal. The 2's cancel, so -1/3. So if that helps you see the math, then there you go. So I'll get -1/3 here, and that's what I'm going to square. Well, when you square that -1/3, -1/3 times -1/3 is a +1/9. Remember, anything that gets put inside my parentheses is going to be multiplied by my leading coefficient. When you multiply those two together, you get 1, so I need to add 1 to the other side of the equation. So that's what my problem looks like, and then I'm going to add those, so I'll get plus or equals 5. And then lastly, I can solve for x. So I would go ahead and divide both sides by 9. And I'll get x -1/3 in parentheses squared is equal to 5/9. I'll go ahead and take the square root of each side. Remembering it's going to be plus or minus, so I'll say x -1/3 is equal to plus or minus the square root of, I think it was 5, over the square root of 9 is 3. So we'll get x is equal to 1/3 plus or minus 5 square root of 5/3. So again, as you can see, that's us solving this nice little quadratic using completing the square. It works every single time, so good to know.